Hey history buffs, ready to dive into a whirlwind tour of England's royalty? We're covering all the kings and queens until the Tudors took the throne. Grab your crowns because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Our journey begins with the early medieval kings. Picture it, England, a land of warriors and woad-painted faces. The first notable king is Alfred the Great, not just a king, but a scholar and a warrior. He defended his kingdom against Viking invasions and somehow found time to learn Latin. Talk about multitasking. Alfred was all about education and law. He built schools and even wrote a legal code. But let's not forget his most heroic act, burning cakes while hiding from Vikings. Yes, even great kings have kitchen disasters. Fast forward to 1066, the year that changed everything. Enter William the Conqueror, a guy with a serious claim to the English throne and an army to back it up. He sailed from Normandy, defeated King Harold at the Battle of Hastings, and voila, England had a new king with a funny accent. William brought some French flair to England. He commissioned the Domesday Book, a giant medieval census. Imagine a door-to-door survey, but with knights and swords. And let's not forget those castles. William loved his castles, especially the Tower of London, a real fixer-upper project. After William, things got messy. We had a bit of a civil war known as the Anarchy. Matilda, his granddaughter, and her cousin Stephen both wanted the throne. It was like medieval Game of Thrones, but without the dragons. Eventually, Matilda's son Henry II took over, bringing some much-needed stability. Henry II was a busy bee. He reformed the legal system and tried to curb the power of the church. His bestie-turned-nemesis, Thomas Becket, ended up martyred in Canterbury Cathedral. "Who will rid me of this turbulent priest?" Famous last words Henry probably regretted. Then came Richard the Lionheart, the king who preferred crusading to ruling. He spent more time fighting abroad than actually being in England. His brother John took over, and, well, he wasn't exactly popular. Lost most of the French territories and got himself into a bind with the barons, leading to the signing of the Magna Carta. Think of it as the medieval version of a terms and conditions agreement. The Plantagenet dynasty saw England's ups and downs. Edward Wathan, also known as Longshanks, had a penchant for conquering Wales and fighting Scots. His son, Edward II, well, let's just say he preferred hanging out with his friends over ruling. He was eventually overthrown by his own wife, Isabella. Talk about awkward family dynamics. Edward III was a breath of fresh air. He kicked off the 100 Years' War and had a son, the Black Prince, who was a medieval rock star. But war and plague took their toll. The Black Death wiped out a third of the population, leaving everyone with serious hygiene issues. The 15th century brought us the Wars of the Roses, a dynastic struggle between the houses of Lancaster and York. Picture it. Two rival families, lots of battles, and a confusing array of Edwards, Henrys, and Richards. It was a family feud on steroids. Henry VI, the king who lost his marbles, literally. His bouts of madness led to Richard of York's rise, and eventually, Edward VII took the throne. Edward was charismatic, tall, and knew how to throw a party. But his untimely death led to more chaos. Enter Richard III, the king with a scoliosis problem and a penchant for villainy, thanks to Shakespeare. He allegedly locked his nephews in the Tower of London, the infamous princes in the tower. But his reign was short-lived. At the Battle of Bosworth, he was defeated by Henry Tudor. Spoiler alert, this Henry becomes Henry VII, kicking off the Tudor dynasty. So, if you enjoyed this journey through time, hit that like button and subscribe for more royal tales. And drop a comment with your favorite English monarch. Until next time, keep your crowns polished and your history books handy.